AI companies promise to replace workers and cut costs. The data shows the opposite is happening, and it's costing billions. Welcome to AI Wealth Wire Desk. We're breaking down the AI job replacement trap, the critical disconnect between what venture capitalists funded, what boards expected, and what's actually happening in real enterprise deployment. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth that earnings calls are barely touching. Despite unprecedented AI adoption across Fortune 500 companies, headcount reductions tied directly to AI automation remain marginal. Research shows that as of Q3 2024, roughly 47% of Fortune 500 firms deployed some form of generative AI tools. That's massive adoption, but labor cost saving nearly invisible in their financial reports. This matters because the entire venture capital thesis around AI automation was built on a single premise. AI replaces workers, companies cut payroll, margins expand, valuations soar. It's a clean story. It's also increasingly divorced from reality. Let's examine what's actually happening behind the scenes. The adoption without replacement paradox. OpenAI, poster child of the AI economy, generated approximately $4 billion in annualized recurring revenue as of mid-2024. That's explosive growth. But here's the critical detail. That revenue is almost entirely enterprise-focused, companies paying subscription fees for ChatGPT Plus, API access, and fine-tuning capabilities. These are additions to corporate spending, not replacements for existing budgets. Consider what's actually happening on the ground. A mid-sized financial services firm with 5,000 employees implements GPT-4 or Claude Opus across its customer service division. Leadership expects to reduce headcount by 20-30%. The initial rollout shows promising metrics. Response times drop, ticket volume per agent increases, customer satisfaction scores tick up. So the company should be cutting staff, right? But then real-world complexity emerges. Agents still need to handle edge cases, unusual customer situations, regulatory nuances, complex disputes that AI flags but can't resolve independently. Quality control requires human oversight. Customers escalate more frequently than predicted because they get frustrated with AI limitations. And the retraining costs, updating models with new product information, regulatory changes, company-specific policies, require new personnel roles and ongoing vendor management. The net result: the company spends millions on AI infrastructure, still pays nearly the original headcount or only reduces by 10-15%, but now also funds new roles like AI training specialists, prompt engineers, and AI quality assurance. Total labor spending often stays flat or increases. This pattern is repeating across financial services, healthcare, retail, and tech sectors. Data from Forrester Research indicates that 62% of enterprises that deployed GenAI in 2023 reported unexpected implementation costs, integration challenges, data quality issues, and retraining requirements that weren't budgeted. Meanwhile, only 23% of those same firms reported actual headcount reductions tied to AI deployment. That gap, the difference between expected automation and actual outcomes, is the trap. Why VC-backed automation companies are burning capital. The venture capital machine has poured staggering amounts into automation startups. Just in 2023 and 2024, automation-focused AI companies raised approximately $18-22 billion across hundreds of funding rounds. Sequoia, Andreessen Horowitz, and Excel-backed companies with pitch decks centered on replacing entire departments. But many of these companies are discovering something uncomfortable. Selling the vision of automation is much easier than delivering persistent, profitable automation at scale. Consider the economics. An automation startup might raise $50 million Series B funding at a $400 million valuation with a promise to reduce customer labor costs by 30-40%. The startup charges customers percentage of savings fees or subscription models. Initial pilots show promise. Customers sign contracts. But then deployment reality hits harder than expected. Implementation takes twice as long as planned. The customer's processes are messier than documented. Edge cases are more prevalent. Staff resistance slows adoption. Vendor lock-in fears emerge. Regulatory concerns surface. And critically, customers still need humans because the automation is 85% effective, not 100% effective. The startup burns through capital faster than projected because each customer deployment becomes custom engineering work. The scalable software becomes services heavy. Gross margins compress. The $50 million raises customers who cost more to serve than anticipated. This economic reality is starting to show in funding velocity. Research from PitchBook indicates that automation startup funding actually decreased 12% year over year from Q2 2024 to Q2 2025. The first decline in automation funding since 2020. That's not coincidence. VCs are getting smarter about the gap between automation promise and persistent profitability. The hidden cost structure nobody discusses. Here's what earnings calls gloss over. Implementing AI at enterprise scale requires entirely new cost categories that don't show up as efficiency saving. First, infrastructure. A Fortune 500 financial services company deploying Claude Opus or GPT-4 across customer-facing operations needs significant cloud infrastructure investment, not just the subscription fees to OpenAI or Anthropic, though OpenAI's API pricing runs approximately $0.03 per 1, 0.000 input tokens and $0.06 per 1, 0.000 output tokens, which scales quickly at enterprise volumes, but also data centers, security infrastructure, compliance monitoring, and redundancy systems. Second, data preparation. AI models need training data. That data has to be cleaned, labeled, and validated. This isn't automated. According to research from Deloitte's 2024 AI survey, companies spend an average of 25-35% of their AI project budgets on data engineering and quality work. That's human-intensive labor, often hiring specialized data engineers at $150,000, $250,000, 000 annual salaries. Third, ongoing model management. GenAI models degrade over time without retraining. New products, new regulations, new customer preferences require model updates. This is continuous operational work that scales with business complexity. Fourth, compliance and audit. Depending on industry, AI deployment requires new compliance frameworks, audit trails, and explainability work. Healthcare companies using AI for diagnostics need clinical validation. Financial firms deploying AI need algorithmic fairness testing. Regulatory-heavy industries can't just deploy and move on. Fifth, human-in-the-loop operations. Most enterprise AI deployments still require human review, escalation, and final decision-making. Customer service AI needs supervisors. Legal document review AI needs attorney review. Healthcare diagnostic AI needs physician review. This is embedded labor cost that doesn't disappear. Sum all these up, and many companies find that total cost to operate their AI system approaches or exceeds the savings from reduced human work. The ROI math stops working, which is why we see companies quietly scaling back aggressive automation timelines, not abandoning AI, but adopting it more conservatively. The companies making real money from the AI trap. Here's the economic insight that matters. The companies profiting most from enterprise AI aren't the ones replacing workers. They're the ones enabling companies to fail at replacement less catastrophically. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google with Gemini Ultra and standard Gemini deployment, and Microsoft, Azure OpenAI service are capturing massive value because enterprises keep paying them regardless of whether replacement happens. The business model isn't contingent on headcount reduction, it's contingent on continued usage and API spend. Consult firms like Deloitte, Accenture, and IBM are experiencing unprecedented demand, not to implement autonomous AI systems, but to help companies navigate AI implementation without destroying their organizations. Implementation consulting is booming precisely because the replacement thesis is failing. DataOps companies, compliance monitoring platforms, and data quality tools are growing because enterprises desperately need the infrastructure that was supposed to be included in GenAI, but isn't. In other words, the profiteers aren't the companies promising to eliminate work. They're the companies solving the problems created when elimination fails. The talent market signal. Here's a pattern worth watching. If massive AI-driven job replacement were actually happening, we'd see it in labor market data. Unemployment would spike in affected sectors. Entry-level hiring would collapse. Wage pressure would ease. None of this is happening. Bureau of Labor Statistics data through Q3 2024 shows continued employment growth, stable to rising wage growth in tech and professional services sectors, and continued hiring in roles you'd expect to be automated first: customer service representatives, data entry specialists, administrative roles. This doesn't mean AI isn't affecting labor markets. It's clearly driving demand for new skills, prompt engineering, AI oversight, data validation. But net job destruction from AI automation remains minimal in actual data. The labor market is absorbing AI adoption without the displacement wave that VC narratives promised. Why? Because replacing humans at complex work is harder, messier, and more expensive than replacing specific, isolated tasks. In complex work, judgment, relationship management, exception handling, contextual decision-making is what most office work actually is. What this means for investment decisions, if you're evaluating AI companies, watching the automation space, or considering roles in companies adopting AI, the trap is betting on the replacement thesis. The companies that told you AI would eliminate 30% of white-collar work are the same companies now asking for patience while optimization timelines extend. Instead, research shows value concentration in companies that 1. Build foundational models people keep using OpenAI, Anthropic, Google too. Solve persistent implementation problems, infrastructure, compliance, data quality. 3. Provide human augmentation rather than replacement, better tools for existing workers, not fewer workers. 4. Operate in niches where 80% plus automation is achievable, certain manufacturing, data processing, basic coding. The AI economy is real and massive, but it's not the elimination economy that 2022-2023 narratives promised. It's an augmentation economy where technology multiplies what existing workers can do, and companies pay for that multiplication. The trap is being overly committed to the replacement narrative and making decisions, hiring, investing, career planning, based on jobs disappearing faster than reality.